And now it's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company with guest host Judge Barry Tatum.
Good morning, Preston, and good morning to everybody who's tuning in to Coleman and Company. When you hear this voice, you know Coleman's on special assignment, as we like to say, and so we've got I guess I'm the C team. If MJ's here in the morning and Preston's covering for her, I'm going to say he's the substitute B over there. I'm probably the C team or maybe the practice squad. But Thursday morning, first segment, it's always sponsored by Bates Ford at 1673 West Main Street, Lebanon, Tennessee, and they're always good about sending people out here. And we're talking about the dealer who will trade for anything that don't eat. Got a couple of friends here. Got Ronnie Kelly and Paul Tubbs. Good morning, fellas.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What's happening in the world of the car business, specifically Ford and Lincoln's?
We're still kind of struggling to get new vehicles, but we are slowly getting some trickled in. It's not like, used to. We kept 100 vehicles on the lot. Now we got about 10. So as far as new, we are doing a really good job of used vehicles. And like I always say, every week we'll buy. If you got something you want to sell, Tony loves that side of it. He don't care if it's a camper, motorcycle, boat.
But don't come with a trailer of pigs.
No, if it eats, we don't want it. But we did one vehicle I did want to mention before I let Ronnie say some stuff about some vehicles is we traded for a black Lincoln Aviator, a very, very hot vehicle that a lot of people want. It's black on black, loaded out. It's a 22 model with 11,000 miles. That's a pretty vehicle. So if somebody's looking for a good SUV, come down and holler at us. We'll show it to you.
Well, did he steal your thunder there, Ronnie, about that black Aviator?
No, he didn't steal that one. I had a couple more on here. We have a few vehicles that are the specials, especially a 2020 F-250, when I say F-250, 2500 Chevy Silverado. It is a nice vehicle, 4x4 red leather, had 20,000 miles. That's a nice vehicle. If anybody looking for a great vehicle to work with or just to have a luxury, that's a nice vehicle. That's around 67.9, and that's a great vehicle. And also we have another Chevy Silverado, which is a work truck, and that work truck is a long wheelbase, and I tell you now, it's a 21. And the good thing about it has 17,000 miles on it. It's white. It does have a bed liner. That's a truck that makes someone a great work truck, and these are the type of truck that we trade for, that we try to buy, and Paul and Mike and Joey do a great job buying these trucks. Again, if you have anything that you want to turn into cash, bring it down to Bates Ford.
So I know that y'all advertise on TV, and I see the cars that are traded in, sometimes antique, what you call classic cars, and sometimes, I guess, street rods.
Yeah, see, we got a whole division. Mr. Bates and Scott, they kind of handle that side of it. But we've got a whole division of classics that we handle. Tony's got a classic trucks. He loves old F-150s or old Ford trucks. He's got several. Actually, he's got a Dodge that he bought in the showroom. He's done some restoration work. We've got a separate division that they just basically handle classics, and, we do really good. We sell several of them a month as well.
Well, even if you're not interested in purchasing a vehicle or trading for a vehicle or converting something to cash, y'all got some pretty good deals on your oil changes and batteries and tires. So give us a little update on that.
Yeah, the oil change deal we've got is, I always say it's cheapest in town. We do a 5-quart oil change, $28.95. The deal that we got going right now is we're running every day. We try to take in about 25 to 30 so we can thoroughly do it. Right? And lately in the afternoons, we've been having to tell people to come back the next morning because we're getting so many. It's a great deal. When we do an oil change, I always say we don't just slap oil and filter on it and send you on your way. We do a full inspection. We'll check your brakes, battery, hoses. Of course, we have great battery deals, as you know, on batteries. Tires, will meet or beat anybody's price on tires. So we do a lot of tires as well. So we stay busy, and that's why we're trying to we are building a new facility over off Franklin Road. So we're in the process of hopefully breaking ground on that. But the reason we're doing that is because we just stay so covered up. We can only do a limited amount of oil changes with the space we got now. So unfortunately, sometimes when people show up a little later, we have to kind of tell them, hey, can you come back? Because we've taken so many in today that we can't get them out.
Well, Paul kind of alluded to it on there. I had my car down there for some service here lately, and they had trouble finding a part. and Ray took good care of me down there. I kind of thought for a while that maybe you and Ray were conspiring, Ronnie, to get me into a new vehicle.
Well, we'll take care of you. We'll take care of you, Judge. But one thing that we look at, we got a friendly sales staff, so if you have anything, if you need service, a vehicle, come down to Bakeford and look at our website, and you'll see some great things on there. If you see don't see something on there that you need, come and talk to one of our sales staff, because we may have it sitting in the back, and we may be able to talk to Paul, and he may be able to find something.
Well,
Judge, one thing I wanted to say is I did get a special call this week from Miss Floyd. She called me. Miss Ann Floyd called.
Yes.
She said she listens to us on the radio, and she gave me a little story about a Thunderbird that she had bought, and she had some things go down with, and she ended up getting Ford replaced it for her. So I thought that was pretty neat. She called and gave me a little story, and I appreciate her giving us a call down there at Bates Ford.
Miss Floyd is one of the dedicated listeners to Coleman and Company, and last year I had the privilege of singing "Happy Birthday" to her.
That's neat. Yeah, it was very nice of her to call us.
Yeah, and of course, telephone number 615-444-8221. You're open 6 days a week, closed on Sundays, but Monday hours are what?
8 a.m. to 7 p.m.
And Saturday?
Saturday, 8 to 1 service, and then sales is from 8 to 6. And service department opens at 7:30 to 5:30 through the week. So if you can get there a little early. I suggest if you want an oil change, best thing to do is get there and get in line early.
Do you take appointments for those?
We do first come, first serve, because you know if I sell a set of brakes or tires or something, if I make some appointments, it just doesn't flow as well. So we do it on first come, first serve basis.
You're going to turn into a doctor's office if you start making appointments.
That's it.
All right. Well, fellas, thank you for joining us. Thank you for your sponsorship of Coleman and Company, and y'all have a good day. Try to stay cool.
Thank you.
And with that, we have our guest for the first segment of Coleman and Company on this sunny and warm May 12th. We have P.J. Hardy of the Lebanon Police Department. Now, I was looking on here. Your rank has changed over the years. You're a lieutenant. And I know we started out at corporal, sergeant, and now we're a lieutenant. And,
Absolutely,
how are
Your
you
Honor.
doing
And
this
I
morning?
appreciate it. I am doing fairly well considering my allergies. They're just terrible this year, just terrible. But otherwise, good.
Well, if allergies are the worst thing you've got going on, you're in pretty blessed shape if you live in Middle Tennessee.
That's right. That's right.
This is a significant week, I guess, in the law enforcement community because you and I were attended, and you had a role in the Fallen Officers Memorial Service that we did locally yesterday up at the courthouse. If you would tell us about Police Week, it's called, and the different activities, different events that are covered.
Sure. This week is designated as National Police Week, National Police Memorial Week. So throughout the nation, locally, there's a lot of celebrations going on and memorials going on to honor those who have fallen during the line of duty at their respective agencies. And then there is a national memorial that will take place this weekend. And a lot of officers, we have a few ourselves, that will be traveling to that to witness that national memorial. There is I believe a candlelight vigil is scheduled as well. Lots of different activities going on with that. You know, we're blessed. The Lebanon Police Department, we only have 2 official on the roster for line of duty deaths. That would be Chief Nolan from way back when. He was actually shot on a call. And then we have Joseph Bowen that just passed, I think it's going to be 4 years now.
Yeah.
And so we're fortunate in that respect. This year, the Sheriff's Department did honor Ms. Teresa Fuller, who passed last year due to complications with COVID. So it's a pretty somber celebration and reminder of the work that we do. But you know, we want to make sure that we honor those that give the ultimate sacrifice for their community. So.
Well, being at the service yesterday, it just reminded me of in the time I've been on the bench, there are 2 days that stand out. One was Tuesday, September the 11th, 2001, of course, that stands out with people worldwide. But then also Wednesday, July 9th, 2003 when we lost Deputy John Music and Sergeant Jerry Mundy in that
Yes,
tragic
sir.
event down on I-40.
Yes, sir.
And of course, their families were there, and Deputy Fuller's families were there, and Officer Bowen's families were there. So it's important to remember the sacrifice that's made and potentially could be made at any time.
At any time, yeah. There was also a ceremony down at the state capitol the day before, so we attended that as well. The state of Tennessee does their memorial down there.
And there are also officers from our different agencies who travel to Washington, D.C., contingent, I guess, from the Lebanon Police Department and Mount Juliet and the Sheriff's Department who participate in that national service this week.
They do, and locally the concerns of police, it's the COPS program. They will take families also down to Washington to witness the memorial services as well down there. So it's a big deal, and it should be. So we're just proud to be able to participate in it, and we thank everybody that's been involved.
You know, I shudder to think I've seen various things where the catchphrase defund the police and, to limit the role that law enforcement has in our communities, and I think it would be anarchy would be the result for that.
Yes.
But we'll move on to some topics that are more current and ongoing that we have, and as soon as Preston gets back with a word from our traffic and sponsors.
All right, thank you, Judge Barry. And let's check in with Commander Chuck with On-Time Traffic. Let's see what's happening out there on those roadways. Traffic is brought to you by Absolute Kubota, located at 1506 West Main Street here in Lebanon. And they got Land Pride quality tractor implements, including cutters, finish mowers, box blades, tillers, and more. 5-year gearbox warranty, extremely durable and well built. And you can call them at 615-449-6171 with any questions you may have. And here's Commander Chuck.
Good morning. Traffic still a mess on that serious wreck in Rutherford County, 840 eastbound at Jefferson Pike. Again, it's still running very slow over there right now. It's picked up with that traffic even more now, coming through Mount Juliet on I-40 through Wilson County. Traffic still looking good right now. 24 coming in from the Jolton area with some radar through that section of Cheatham County. Gatlinburg Wine Cellar, home of the world-famous cotton candy wine. Log on to GatlinburgWineCellar.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing has experienced new leadership and a new atmosphere. Same location in the heart of Lebanon, 731 Castle Heights Court on the Castle Heights campus. Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing is providing 5-star clinical outcomes to short-term and long-term care residents. Call 615-444-4319 for a tour and to experience the new culture. Renewal happens here at Lebanon Center for Rehabilitation and Healing.
It's all about taking care of you, and THW Insurance will do just that. Are you looking for home or auto insurance? THW represents Westfield Insurance and other fine companies. Together, they will protect you and your family. Call Carl Ragland at 615-443-6530 or stop in and see him at Wilson Bank and Trust, 623 West Main Street in Lebanon.
Welcome back to Coleman and Company. We're talking with Lieutenant P.J. Hardy of the Lebanon Police Department, Public Information Officer, PIO it's called.
Yeah.
And before we went to the break, we were talking about the Police Week and recognition of officers that have passed away in the line of duty. But there are other things, active things that are always going on with the Lebanon Police Department. And that's important for a law enforcement agency to have an outreach in the community. And you've got a note here about a Citizens Academy. That's something y'all been doing for a while.
We've been doing it for a very long time, and we just actually graduated our current Academy members this past Thursday. I wanted to just kind of bring it up and thank them for attending and congratulate them for getting through the program. I think everyone had a wonderful time based on the reviews that we got at the end of the class. It's just an amazing program. It really gives people the opportunity to see the inner workings of a police department, particularly their police department, the one that serves them and protects them here in Lebanon. it's really, it costs nothing. We feed folks because we realize that it starts at around a dinner time, and they may or may not have had the opportunity to go grab something to eat before they come out. So there is a meal provided as well, and we do a lot of hands-on. I'm not a big fan of the PowerPoint, read off the screen kind of presentations. There are some things that we have to do that with. Some information has to be presented that way. But for the most part, we try to make it very hands-on. So we just graduated class. I've had a lot of comments on social media about when is the next class and how do we get involved and whatnot. The next class would be the third Thursday in September. The date evades me right now. But it's always the third Thursday in September and the third Thursday in March. It's just kind of simple to remember. Those are the first nights of the academy. So about a month prior, we'll start putting information out on social media and here on the radio to let folks know to go ahead and apply. And they can do that through our website, LebanonPD.org, or right off of our social media site on Facebook.
And how many people are in the Citizens Academy? How many people can you accommodate?
Well, funny thing, normally we have about 20 to 25 folks, and I put it out on Facebook, and they basically download the picture of the application, they fill it out, and then they email it to me. Well, prior to COVID, we had put an application for the Citizens Academy on our website. Well, of course, during COVID, we didn't have any classes for nearly 2 years. So we kind of forgot that we did that. So this time around, when we restarted the program, I got all of my applications off of my normal social media, and I started getting phone calls saying, hey, I put an application in. Well, I hadn't heard anything. So I looked them up. I said, I don't have your application. And they said, well, I did it on the website. And I thought, uh-oh. So we actually had 42 folks sign up.
Wow.
Normally we have about 25, and I believe we graduated 38. So
Okay.
it was a large class, but it was absolutely wonderful. Logistically, I knew, which I told them at the very first night, I said, now listen, we're scheduled from 6 to 8:30-ish. So just mind that, because we do have a lot of folks, and just feeding nearly 40 people, takes a little bit of extra time. And I don't think we ever got out of class on time, the entire academy, but none of them seemed to mind. Everyone loved staying after, and because I told them, if you got to leave at 8:30, just please feel free to get up and leave. No one ever left, and we had a great time. So.
And is that a weekly meeting?
It is. It's Thursday nights, 8 Thursday nights in a row. Like I said, starting the third Thursday, either in September or March, and the last Thursday is our graduation night. And it's just it's a lot of fun, and it's really insightful, and they walk away with a better understanding of how things work at the police department, and really surprisingly, all the different things that we do for the community, all the different services that we provide. We may not have Miami-Dade money or New York money or whatnot, but at the end of the day, we solve crimes and we protect the community, and it's good to see.
That's what it's about.
Yeah.
And not only that's for adults, but then you also have a youth academy.
We have a youth academy that is also wonderful. Theirs is a little bit different. It's a 1-week program. It's Monday through Friday, 8:30 until 4, and it's a mini version of the adult academy. Actually, theirs is a little bit better because they have a couple things that are different. During the course of the week, they work towards 2 challenges that they'll do on Friday. One is an obstacle course. That obstacle course is a full team obstacle, so there won't be any individual competitions or accolades. Your team has to maneuver through these obstacles together in order to effectively compete. So they'll work towards that, and then they'll also work towards processing, just like a crime scene technician. They'll process a mock crime scene, and they'll get graded on that for their performance on that, and then they can win some prizes and awards for those 2 challenges. But all along during the course of the week, they'll talk to different officers in their different respective roles and what they do for the department. They'll get to see a lot of the equipment. We play a lot of games. We do a lot of activities. The great thing about that is that while we are the police department and that is our focus, if whether your child has any aspirations of being a police officer or not, it really doesn't matter. What we're building is good citizens, future citizens that are going to be engaged and are going to be a positive part of our community. We teach a lot of leadership skills, and we do that in communication skills, and we do that through different activities. So if your child likes to draw or create things, we do that. If your child likes to build things or tear things up sometimes, we do that. If your child likes physical activity, we do that, although there's no physical activity requirement, but it's just a lot of fun games. There's there's something for everyone in that academy. And again, it's free 99, as I say. And the wonderful thing about that is the Lebanon Special School District provides their lunch through their summer lunch program, so they don't even have to bring their own lunch. It's just an amazing program. The only thing that we're considering right now is the location. We've been doing it forever at the Jimmy Floyd Center. They've been gracious to host us during that week for years and years. We may do it at the new facility this year because we have the facility. I just got to figure out logistically if that can happen, consistently Monday through Friday. So, but anyway, it is the 20th through the 24th of June, June 20th through the 24th. We typically decide it's either that week or the next week because those are the two dead period weeks for the school district.
Right.
Because we don't want to compete with summer sports or
Vacation,
schools,
Bible schools.
yeah, that sort of thing. So we select one of those 2 weeks. It's usually the first week of the 2-week dead period.
And what are the age ranges?
So the age range on those is 11 to 18. 18 if they're still in school, if they're still enrolled in school. If they're 18 and older and graduated, then they be a part of our adult academy. But yeah, 11. We've slid in a couple 10-year-olds because they're either siblings of, or depends on the maturity level as well. So if that's a situation where your child is 10, reach out to us and let us know, and we'll have a conversation and see.
Are you full up for this year?
We haven't put anything out yet, so
Right.
we'll be
Get the
putting
first word here.
Yep, first word here. We'll be putting out the information probably the next week, and again, it'll be on our Facebook page, our social media page.
What about the website?
I don't think we put a youth academy on there, but I probably should double check. Yeah, good call there, Your Honor. Good call.
But anybody that's got a child, 11 to 18, whether they're interested in law enforcement or not, if you're looking for something to do that's free, that's informative, that's educational, that's team building.
It's a lot of fun for those kids. We have a great time. Check out our Facebook page, and you'll scroll back to last year, and you'll see the different activities that they do. We have one as part of the team obstacle course. It's a ladder. It's a straight ladder that has 6 ropes that are tied to the top, and those ropes are held by their team members. And so the ladder then is held vertically and held strongly, hopefully. And the team member has to go up the ladder, over and down, and then they'll grab a rope, and then that person will go up and over, and they have to make it through all 6 members. And
How high is this ladder?
it's about 20 feet.
Yeah.
So it's amazing. The first day that we look at that, most kids are like, but we work with them during the course of the week, and come Friday, they're all a bunch of spider monkeys. They're up and over, and they just have no fear, no worries. So
You don't do that
it's
in the-
amazing to see.
You don't do that in the Citizens Academy.
We tried, but our insurance said to discontinue. No, we don't. Actually, we don't do a whole lot of physical stuff. Now we do a self-defense. We
Right.
do a little self-defense course with the adults, and we do our Milo video trainer, which is really, if you've never experienced that video trainer will get your heart rate pumping. So.
Well, one last thing, of course, school's about to be out.
Yep.
People are going to have travel plans. What are last minute here or so that we have?
Please be careful and plan ahead. Always plan ahead. With technology the way it is, with GPS and all that is available out there, you can check traffic patterns. You can check, best routes, that sort of thing. You can check alternatives. Just always kind of plan ahead and just be safe. Everyone wants to get to the beach and enjoy themselves, but you can't enjoy yourself if if you have a crash on the way or worse. So please, 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 just be very careful.
And slow down.
Slow down, absolutely.
Drive like Judge Tatum.
There you go.
All righty. Lieutenant P.J. Hardy with the Lebanon Police Department. Anyone who's has an interest of Youth Academy, check out the Facebook page, social media page for Lebanon Police Department. Those dates are June 20th through June 24th. It's free 99.
Free 99.
With meals provided. And it'd be great if you had a child who's 11 to 18.
Yep.
Lieutenant Hardy, thank you, and thank you for what you do every day.
Thank you, Your Honor. Pleasure being here.
All right, let's check back in with Commander Chuck with on-time traffic. Find out how it's going out there on the roadways. And traffic is brought to you by Bates Ford, located at 1673 West Main Street. They got the Works vehicle checkup going on, $39.95, 5 quarts of oil plus disposal, and you can definitely get a good deal there. And stop on by again, 1673 West Main Street, and their phone number to call is 444-8221. And here's Commander Chuck.
Good morning. They're still trying to mop up this wreck involving injuries. 840 eastbound at Jefferson Pike. They've been out here for quite some time on the scene of this accident. It was pretty bad, actually, on 840. Traffic's on the increase even more. 24 out through the Hickory Hollow area. You got all that traffic coming in through Coffee County, from Coffee County through Rutherford County right now. Hey, Prince's Hot Chicken is hiring at both locations. If you haven't seen that menu in a while, check it out at princeshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
The refreshing cool after coming in from a hot summer day. The perfect temperature to kick off your shoes and relax with a good book. When the weather heats up, a new Rheem AC system will surround your family in total comfort. Are you feeling it? Rheem, the new degree of comfort.
Financing available through TVA's Energy Right program and your local power company. Call Randy's Heat and Air 237-3604.
Rheem, the new degree of comfort.
There's a reason why more home buyers and sellers trust A.G. & Johnson Realty and Auction to get the job done. A.G. & Johnson offers what you want: more knowledge, more personal attention, more convenience. When you love what you do, it shows. That's why we have been voted the best of Wilson County by you, our clients. Discover the A.G. & Johnson difference. We are trusted by your neighbors for a reason. Call 615-444-0909 or visit us online today, agandjohnson.com, your community trusted realty and auction company.
What is your passion? How can you use that passion to enrich your community? Hi, this is Melanie Minter, President and CEO of the Lebanon-Wilson County Chamber of Commerce. Your chamber is the resource for making connections to fulfill your passion. Whether education, nonprofit, agriculture, entertainment, or government relations, Wilson County offers a place for you to be involved. Your chamber connects businesses, individuals, and your passion to the community. We have an enthusiasm for excellence. Join us and catch the spirit. Call or visit our office at 149 Public Square in Lebanon.
A slightly cooler day ahead compared to yesterday. Today should top out at 85 degrees with lots of sunshine, falling to 59 degrees overnight with highs in the low 80s through the weekend. Storms likely Saturday. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's a look at your forecast. I'm number one Ned.
Thank you for tuning in to Coleman and Company. Barry Tatum sitting in for Coleman, who's on special assignment. And we're about to start the second segment of Coleman and Company this Sunday, Thursday morning. And we have Jay White and Helene Singer Cash with A.G. & Johnson Realty and Auction. Good morning to y'all.
Good morning. How are you today?
Well, I'm doing well. It's if you get out early, it doesn't matter whether your air conditioning works or not. I haven't had a working air conditioner in my truck now for several years, and I'm reminded of it about this time.
I can imagine. To be honest with you, my air went out on my truck Monday, and it's.
Isn't it funny how that happens?
At least it went out. Yeah, it sure is. But the first day I needed it was Monday, but it worked about half the day Monday. But anyway, it's in the shop now, so maybe they'll get me running.
Well, tell me something. You got auctions going on, properties being listed. How's the cheesecake auctions going?
Cheesecakes are popular here in Wilson County. The cheesecakes are real popular.
Well, I appreciate you. Well, I don't know what
I've almost sold as many cheesecakes this spring as we have tracts of land. I mean, your oven doesn't shut down. I think it stays warm all the time.
Well, I'm glad to do it for these charitable events and stuff, but I don't know what it is that you tell people about these cheesecakes, but but it's amazing what kind of prices they bring
You know,
in.
we sold one Saturday night at the, what was it, the
Ducky Derby.
Ducky Derby.
And the fellow that bought it, he carried it to his inlay. I think his whole family got a slice, but by the end of the day, he had it all eaten up, I believe.
Well, you know, they don't last long, and I had a cousin, Danny Stewart was my cousin. His daughter sent me a message, and she said, "These cheesecakes are going for such a price. What's the family discount on it?" So I'm going to have to put Danielle on the list on that. But A.G. & Johnson's been around, I think, since 1979, 1978. Am I right about that?
1978.
And located at 728 West Main Street. Telephone number is 615-444-0909. And, of course, you got a web presence with www.agandjohnson.com. Said you got a lot of auctions going on. Ever seen the market like this, Jay?
You know, not in my tenure. I mean, we're in an awful good market right now on the seller side. If you're looking to buy, it's a tough market to be able to find what you're looking for. Just, you know, our inventory is down.
Right.
That's the reason why. But I mean, on the selling side, we've been fortunate in this area that, you know, our values, if you own property, had bought property in the last, you know, 8 or 10 years, it's been a great investment for you.
Right. But, and one thing about land, I remember Jerry Johnson and Jim A.G. saying this at auctions, you know, when they'd say they're not making any more of it, you know, need to take a look at this.
That's true. That's true.
They're not making any more land, just making more parcels, and we'll talk about that when we get into the meat of our show here. But you've got an auction coming up this Saturday, looks like.
We do, out on Bluebird Road in Watertown, Tennessee address, but you just go up right here on the Trousdale Ferry Pike and Bluebird Road on the corner up there. Got a little 6-acre tract of land. Got a nice little building, little barn to store some things in. It's got a nice, you can get a septic approved, just a nice level lot. It'll make somebody a great place to build a home or go out and just, you know, garden or do whatever you wish out there. But it's a nice little level tract of land that we'll be selling at 10 o'clock Saturday morning up, and come out and be with us.
And most auctions start at 10 o'clock. Occasionally, you'll have a Thursday auction that might start after work, 5 o'clock or so.
True, we do have some after-dinner sales along on Thursdays. We're actually in a couple of weeks, in June, we're going to have a couple of personal property and home auctions on Thursdays.
Okay.
And here in town. But most of our midweek sales are done in the evening at 6.
Well, Helene, anything you want to add about this? Any other listings that you want to talk about?
We have a new listing on Chapman Drive in Leilani on 231 North. It's 202 Chapman Drive. It's sitting on an acre lot. Highly sought after community. It's Carroll Oakland School District. So it's a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, or 2-bath, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, listed at $354. This one won't last long. They've done some upgrades to it. So, give us a call at 615-444-0909. Schedule a listing.
And I guess anybody, like Jay said, it's a good time to sell.
It's a good time to sell. It's a good time for an auction. So great time for sellers for homes because it's an easy way to sell your home because everyone comes there and you know it's sold that day.
Right. You don't have to worry about listing it for a period of time.
Correct.
And people scheduling a
Yep.
visit and so forth.
Everyone can see it that one day and it gets sold that day.
What's the quickest turnaround time? If somebody came in and said, I'm ready to downsize, I'm ready to sell this, how quickly could you get an auction together? Let's say if it's a house and some acreage.
You can get an auction together in a few weeks.
Wow.
As long as we can slide it in on the schedule, we can get it together in a few weeks.
Y'all got dates available?
We always can find time.
I
We can always find time.
I like that answer. Well, again, you can give Helene or Jay a call down at A.G. & Johnson Realty and Auction. Of course, they got more staff out here. They just brought the principals out, and I feel sorry for Danny Tidwell because when he's listening this morning, he can't tell whether it's me talking or you talking.
Well, that's
Jay.
true. That's true. But maybe we'll give Danny a shout out this morning.
we'll give
I hope
Danny
he's
a
listening
shout
to us on his way in from Gordon.
Don't forget to auction this Saturday if you're interested in 6 3/4 acres out Watertown address, but close to town. Soil's tested for 3 bedrooms, right?
Yes, sir.
And good place if you wanted to build a house. If you wanted a couple of head of livestock, be a good place too.
Absolutely.
All right, and with that, it's about 20 minutes till. Thank y'all for your time, and we'll get our scheduled guests, the one that Coleman set up, to come in and take a seat. And you messed me up there, Tom, because I was adjusting the microphone. Billy showed me how to do this, and I was about to turn down the microphone.
I'm sorry, I just didn't see a microphone over there. So.
We didn't rehearse this.
No.
As Coleman likes to say, it's spontaneous and unrehearsed. And I can't remember the third term. Do you know?
No.
Do you recall? Live, spontaneous, and unrehearsed is what he says. Tom Brashears, who I know as the county planner, but your title has expanded, which is a sign that you must be doing a pretty good job.
Well, I hope it is. My title is Director of Development Services. I'm over planning, which I have been since 2001, but as of January of 2018, I was asked to take over responsibilities of overseeing building codes and zoning enforcement as well as stormwater. So there's quite a lot going on right now, and it's keeping me busy.
Well, it's not just you, of course. You've got a staff or a team in there.
Yes,
I do. Could you use more people?
I could, and I've been interviewing for a position in planning, and I think I've got that one filled, and I've got one open position in my building inspection department or my zoning enforcement counter staff area, and I'll be interviewing for that later today. So.
Well, that's one of the things about growth. It's we gripe about it in a lot of ways, saying it's out of control or the traffic's bad, but it's also an opportunity for people that are interested in that.
Yes, and we have been growing, Judge. We've had just in terms of tracking adequate facilities tax payments over the past roughly 4 years, we've had over 10,000. Adequate facilities tax payments made in the county, countywide.
Does that count? Does that include the cities?
That includes the cities.
Okay.
And as the mayor, I believe, has stated before, roughly 85% of those were within either the city of Lebanon or city of Mount Juliet or the city of Watertown. Roughly 15% of them were in Wilson County. So about 1,500 of them over the past roughly 4 years have been in Wilson County.
And typically, you're going to have that when you have municipals, utility services, sewer, water, gas.
Yes, absolutely. They because they have that public water and public sewer, it gives an advantage to not only developing, but developing at higher densities. The other thing that you want to keep in mind is even though we have some areas we would like to focus on for commercial development out in the county, your commercial sales tax production largely comes within the cities. The only advantage to having some commercial development out in the county for retail sales tax purposes is the county doesn't have to split that with anybody. It's 100% of the state, of the local share sales tax goes to the county. Whereas if you're in the city, you're splitting it, I think, 50-50 with the city and the county.
And that's the reason a lot of times you'll see cities will annex a main traffic corridor, have kind of a gooseneck stuck out.
Yes, they used to call that cherry picking.
Cherry picking, where they get the prime retail slots on that. But, you know, I was talking to former Senator Bob Rochelle some years ago, and, you know, when he got out of law school, got out of the Army, and he came back to Lebanon, he had taken some planning courses at planning law, land use management classes at the University of Tennessee, even after he got his law degree. And he was, I guess, county attorney, probably first position that it was funded. But he was present when the county did its first zoning platform. So it hasn't been that long. It's, you know,
1972 and then 74. I think they started in 72 with some sort of adoption, and there was some questions about it, and it took them until 1974, as I understand it, to kind of get a finalized zoning plan and zoning ordinance in place.
You know, you can tell you're getting old when you say it was 50 years ago. Oh, it hadn't been that long ago. But, you know, before then, it was just basically you could throw up anything, anywhere. You know, didn't really care about the groundwater, didn't care about the runoff, but now there are a lot more considerations, and it's really for the whole public good.
Yes, and actually, we did not have our first county engineer's position until roughly 2006. We had some design review that occurred through the 90s for most subdivisions. And I got here in 2001, but I just, in looking back at the files, there was a review that occurred, but there was nobody to ensure that it got installed the way it was proposed up until about 2003 to 2006. So since then, we've been trying to do a better job of, or a good job of making sure that we get certain drainage designs in our subdivisions and our commercial development, and making sure we're trying to retain the water on site from the impact of that particular development. Can't say we're always successful, but we try.
And part of what you do is not only do you have to work countywide, but you also have to work within the guidelines and mandates of, I guess, the state, Department of Environment and Conservation, and also the feds, do you not?
Yes, absolutely. For instance, Tennessee Department of Environment and Conservation, and this is actually something that improves drainage overall, mandated that every development that comes online within our community, because we're what's called a National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System, or NPDES Phase 2 community. Leave to the federal government to use alphabet soup for names of stuff. But they require now the first inch of any rainfall event to be absorbed on site. Now keep in mind, if you have 3 inches of rain one day and 3 inches of rain the very next day, that's probably not
going to
occurring
happen
successfully. But the idea is, if you haven't had rain in a while and then it rains, you're supposed to have design in place to absorb the first inch of rainfall from your development on site.
They don't want everything paved.
That's right.
That's what you're saying. Okay. Well, I'm looking over there at Preston. He's got his headphones on, so it looks like we got a moment here for a traffic report and a word from our sponsors.
Yeah, let's check in with Commander Chuck with On-Time Traffic, find out what's happening out there on the roadways. And traffic is brought to you by Absolute Kubota, located at 1506 West Main Street. And they feature Red Max, a complete inventory of weed eaters, blowers, and hedge trimmers for the commercial user and homeowner, up to a 4-year warranty. And you can give them a call at 615-449-6171 with any questions you may have. And now here's Commander Chuck.
The cleanup continues on this earlier wreck with injuries over here in Rutherford County, 840 eastbound at Jefferson Pike. Just busy where you would expect. 24 coming in from Coffee County through Rutherford County all the way up into Davidson County. Lots of radar out here this morning. Give yourself plenty of extra time. The Ripley's family of attractions is hiring. Check it out at ripleys.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
It's all about taking care of you, and THW Insurance will do just that. Are you looking for home or auto insurance? THW represents Westfield Insurance and other fine companies. Together, they will protect you and your family. Call Jeff Lee at 615-443-3849 or stop in and see him at the THW main office, 321 West Main Street in Lebanon.
Hey, this is Paul with Bates Ford, and our vehicle purchase program has been a huge success. If you got something you want to sell, bring it to Bates Ford for a cash offer. Even if you owe money, we'll pay it off and give you the difference. And on the service side, we got some great deals. We got the Works program, which includes an oil change and a tire rotation, the cheapest oil change in town, the cheapest battery in town for $134 installed on most vehicles. That's Bates Ford, 1673 West Main, the dealer that'll trade for anything that don't eat.
Back to Coleman and Company. It's about 12 minutes before 8 o'clock on this going to be a warm Thursday day, and we're talking with Tom Brashears, who's rather than going through the whole title, planning director, I think is correct. The whole title and all the responsibilities. I'm just going to say he's the planning guru for Wilson County, and right now in these times, I don't see how you have time to stop and catch your breath.
Well, it is a high growth cycle. I think the good folks at A.G. Johnson talked about that. We have had a lot of development. Over the past 3 fiscal years, we've roughly doubled to tripled what would typically be the number of housing starts. I'm talking in the cities and the county, countywide. At least the past 3 years, if not the past 4 to 5 years, we've doubled to tripled that intake of new homes being developed, and that includes condominiums, townhomes, apartments, what have you. So you've got that. We're also in the middle of a land use plan update that we had 4 initial public input meetings earlier this spring. We're in the process of kind of trying to take that information that we receive from the public and process it. We're trying to come up with a scenario that takes into account what we heard from everybody, which largely was we got a lot of growth and we would like to see more infrastructure before all this growth happens. And unfortunately, if I can talk about that for just a minute, infrastructure typically does follow development, even though it ought to be the other way around, logically speaking. And that's because if you think about it, the county has an adequate facilities tax. I think it's $5,000 per single family unit. And we get approximately $5,000 per single family unit for capital improvements projects that go on in the county. Most of that money gets spent on schools, jail expansions, or fire service. But some of the infrastructure we heard about was drainage and road infrastructure in particular. And that's something that with the county mayor, we are discussing and we're working on different ways we might be able to address some of that. But back to what I was saying, most of the time at present, most of the revenue that comes from this development, whether or not it pays for itself, comes after the development. Whether you're talking about increased property values from subdivision of the property, you know, a large farm is probably going to be on Greenbelt, and you know, it might assess for, I'm pulling this number out of the air, so if I'm wrong, don't shoot me, guys.
You're not buying.
But $8,000 to $10,000 an acre, whereas if you subdivide it into subdivision lots, you're going to get $30,000 for 30 to 50 for an acre, $30 to $50,000 an acre, probably more close to 50,000 right now for an acre, and that rolls into property value, property assessment, and everything else. But all of that comes after the development, so it's kind of the county's in a catch-22, and the cities, frankly, are too, in terms of getting that infrastructure ahead of the development.
Well, you know, the example I use time and again, both on the radio, I've said it before, but also talking with people years ago, up in Cookeville, up in Putnam County, they built a road parallel on the north side of I-40 between Willa and Jefferson. And I remember when that was being built, looking over there thinking, wonder what they're putting over there, and it turned out to be a 5-lane road, and nothing was on it. No businesses. And now you go up there, of course, it's been 20, 25 years. It's jam-packed full. It's full of retail businesses. It's visible, high visibility from the interstate, and it's a revenue stream for taxes, and it serves the public. I think one of the big problems that I hear about, and I'm not in the business, I just hear, you know, through the grapevine or on occasion, is we have a lot of, it hasn't been that long since we had gravel roads in Wilson County. And our roads, you'll have a 2-lane road like Trails to Ferry Pike, although it's a state highway out here. But all of our roads are paved, but there'll be a subdivision that goes in on a 2-lane, what used to be not that long ago, gravel road. And the road's not expanded. But you're saying that the revenue that comes in is to improve the infrastructure once the need's already been established.
That's generally what I'm implying. The one thing I will say that we have done, we have implemented some standards over the past several years, whereby if you get a subdivision on an existing 2-lane road, for instance, if it's above 50 lots, according to our subdivision regulations at this point, we do require a center turn lane to be installed, and acceleration and deceleration lanes coming into the subdivision to allow for the traditional traffic that's in that area to be able to pass by the neighborhood, while people that are trying to get into that neighborhood can kind of get off into a lane to themselves to turn into the neighborhood.
And does the developer bear that cost?
The developer bears that cost, yes.
Okay.
So that is something that we get, you know, with development, is some improvement to the road right-of-way. The other thing we get with subdivision development at present, the state of Tennessee has had a few bills go across the legislative agenda in recent years to take this away from counties and cities, and I think it would be a mistake, but if they did this, but there have been some bills to take this actual right-of-way from counties and cities to require dedication of right-of-way with subdivision of your property. So if you subdivide 2 to 4 lots off your property or 400 lots off your property, and you're on existing road frontage of an existing 2-lane road, and that road's only 25 feet wide or 20 feet wide or 18 feet wide, we require a right-of-way dedication 25 foot from the center line in most cases for future expansion of the road, which forgoes the need for the county to have to buy that at fair market value at some point later down the road. And the idea is, because you're subdividing your property into additional lots, you're getting some advantage to doing that, and in return, the county ought to be able to get their right-of-way dedication so that they don't have to obtain that later.
And that's a long, drawn-out process. It's an expensive process.
Yes, particularly if you go to buying right-of-way, you get into negotiations with each individual property owner, and that can slow down traffic improvements immensely.
Well, we saw what happened with 840, particularly from 65 to I-40 on the west side, how that was delayed for years from that.
Yes.
But one of the, things that we've seen in your career and mine is the development of the Eastgate Boulevard, development of Maddox Simpson out here south of town, and also the 840 corridor out to the Speedway. We had folks that were part of the counties and the cities getting together and saying this is an opportunity to develop I don't know if it would be a corporate headquarters or a manufacturing or a distribution facility that's accessible to the interstates. And it took a lot of cooperative planning to do that.
It did.
With the property owners. Do you see a need for that?
Absolutely. And in fact, I told you we're updating the land use plan right now. Well, Mount Juliet has requested that we update our county growth plan, which is exactly what you're talking about it's a cooperative effort between counties and cities to discuss jurisdictional boundaries for planning purposes and for annexation purposes. It's also an opportunity for us to talk about such things as cooperative planning efforts. One example of what you're talking about is the 840 corridor, since I think roughly the 1990s, has been deemed an economic development corridor for the county, to the point that when we adopted our first mandated growth plan in 2001, again, just prior to me being here, it was designated down the 840 corridor all the way to the Rutherford County line as a South Wilson County planned growth area. And the city of Lebanon and Wilson County ultimately cooperated on a sewer line expansion down that property or down that corridor to encourage economic development.
And it's happened.
Down the corridor, and it's happened.
Yeah. One of the things that I've noticed, though, is you have a lot of distribution facilities, a lot of heavy truck traffic, and people work at those facilities, but there are very few restaurants or places to eat along there.
No,
the
sir,
retail hasn't followed.
We do have a Love's Travel Center that has a couple of restaurants in it at this point. We are trying to keep truck traffic off of the Stewart's Ferry corridor in particular. If you'll look, Lebanon has planning jurisdiction down to about the Amazon facility on 840.
Okay.
The county has a warehouse distribution magnet area down at the Couchville Pike interchange. We're kind of handling Stewart's Ferry Pike with a little bit of kid gloves. We've extended public sewer down through the Crossroads community in part to sustain their traditional commercial corridor. And at that point, when we got them on public sewer, we're able to, have things like Ziggy's Pizza and
Talking about
Gladeville
going into
Diner,
downtown Gladeville.
Downtown Gladeville. We didn't want to destroy that with
Right.
warehouses and everything. You've got the ballpark and the ball fields and the community center and all the churches. You've got a Mason's Lodge and a bank and other things. And so we've extended sewer down in part to serve the school system that's down there, but also and the fire department, but also to sustain that commercial area. And we've also talked with various people about wanting to put warehouses at the Stewart's Ferry interchange or some sort of high truck traffic generating commercial use, and we've tried very hard to discourage that at that particular interchange. We're looking for something more along the lines of what you're talking about, perhaps restaurants, perhaps convenience retail that serves both the traveling public on 840, but also that community. They do have a Dollar General down there at this point that's fairly new, that does provide some level of convenience commercial in the label corridor.
In the last minute or so that we've got left, Tom, I couldn't help but think if you're in the position that you're in, where you're looking at growth and looking at infrastructure, do you ever find yourself trying to project yourself 20, 30 years down the road, saying, now, if we do this today, what's it going to look like 3 decades from now?
Yes, I mean, I think that's part of our job.
Yeah.
So we have to kind of try to balance both what we hear people say and their concerns, but also the very real need for the county to have tax generation, tax revenue generation, and also the very real need of trying to preserve some of what got us here in
Yeah.
terms of local community. And Glaveville is a perfect example of that. Even though at our public hearing there, I got beat on pretty good about what had happened, because they've had a lot of growth, in fairness to them, in their area.
Well, for what it's worth, the Gladeville
Yeah.
baseball team used to whoop up on a lot of people too, from what I hear. But listen, Tom, thank you. Tom Brashears, the planning director for Wilson County. Thank you for what you do, bringing professionalism to your office, and being interested in future development, also preserving our past.
All right.
And with that, thank you for tuning in to Coleman and Company. Again, Coleman's on special assignment. We'll see when he gets back what tales he has to weave at that time. But the rest of y'all have a tremendous day and enjoy yourself.